Welcome, welcome. If you have some tarot cards, please go and get them. This is the deck that I'm using today. And we're going to use the tarot cards as a guide. If you don't have your own, then still listen, because the wisdom is ancient and it's timeless and it's applicable across whether you're using tarot cards, whether you're praying, whether you're writing a story, whatever. Do you have tarot cards? If you don't, still pay attention, because I'm going to teach you how to do a spread and how to divinate on your own. So we can get started. This morning, my major takeaway from my meditations and my journal entries and all of that is that everyone has a story to tell, and in order for you to be healthy, you have to know your own story really well so that you can direct it. A lot of people will call this, self-awareness, be self-aware, consciousness, knowledge of self, which is a very hip-hop based term. But what that really means, from my perspective, is that you have to know your own story. You have to know the highs and the lows. You have to know the character that you're playing in your own story, how you feel about it, and how you want to feel. And really, that's the only way to not be self-destructive, is to be aware of your own self-limiting patterns and to be aware of your own superpowers and your own abilities. So that's the biggest message for today. That's my drop. That's the takeaway, is you must be aware of your own story. What story are you telling yourself? Who are you in this storyline? What character do you play when you're sad? What character do you play when you're empowered? And how do you get yourself out of the ditch? This is why I call this talk How to Not Be Self-Destructive, because I feel like that's some real shit. A lot of people will talk about self-love, but they will not talk about self-respect. And those two, my friends, they go one and the same. If you want self-love, you also have to have self-respect. And several months ago, when Quick was in Japan, I'm waving hi to you guys. Several months ago, when Quick was in Japan, I went to the mounds, these indigenous mounds. And that's the message that I received from my ancestors when I was on these mounds. The energy and the messages were coming so thick and so deep. And by messages, I just mean kind of like airdrops of consciousness. Hey, peace, airdrops of consciousness. And it was like, you know what, Shebah Saturn, you love yourself a lot. You've got this self-love thing down, but you really lack self-respect. And self-respect to me has a lot to do with accountability. So that's my message for today, is what story are you telling yourself? What character are you playing? You may be practicing self-respect, but not self-love. Maybe you're really great at holding yourself accountable, but you're not really compassionate and loving to yourself. And that's another thing that I think being raised in the Latino community is one of the things that we need to talk about, is so many of us, our parents come from different places, and they had to struggle for so long and so hard that they kind of shut off their emotional sensitivity. And that was something that I had to work on with myself as well. I'd be like, oh, well, fuck it. Hey, I'm going to do what it is that I have to do, and I'm just not going to be vulnerable. And that over time does not sustain healthy relationship with yourself. Ultimately, when you're too hard on yourself, you self-destruct. So how to not be self-destructive. I want to teach you how to do a tarot card spread that I found very valuable. If you do not have tarot cards, that's okay. The wisdom here is still applicable, because the wisdom in the tarot is it's timeless and it's universal and it's ancient. So it's been here for thousands and thousands of years, and the wisdom here will continue to be here. For those of you who are not familiar with the tarot, essentially what the tarot is, it's a series of illustrations of the human experience. That's all it is. Demystifying all the other energies around it. It's literally cards with illustrations of the human experience, and each of these cards has a piece of ancient wisdom that it represents. Today, I want to talk to you about a 5-card spread. I've been thinking a lot about my career. And you know what? Before we get started, share this video to 3 people that you think would benefit from this talk. And I'll give you a couple moments to do that. Just 3 people who I want to help as many people as possible. I have been through a lot of shit, and I feel a strong sense of responsibility to share how I got myself out of the proverbial shit house, out of the outhouse. It wasn't easy. It took a lot of love, and I want to help as many people as possible. So please share this video with 3 friends who you think would find this information helpful. We're about to get into a 5-card tarot spread. Again, if you don't have the tarot, don't worry about it. We're here together. We're going to have a good time. Each of these cards contains a little bit of history and life knowledge, and this is why I work with the tarot. Peace, brother. This is why I work with the tarot. Okay, so this tarot card spread is really great when you're going through transitions, and I found that it would be how appropriate of me to do this now, because the entire world is shifting and going through a transition. And whenever there's light, there's dark. It's tremendously sad, tremendously heart-wrenching and anguishing for a lot of people who are in a state of economic and emotional distress and poverty. At the same time, deciding who you're going to be in your story is very important, as I said earlier. So know your story, know your pitfalls, know your superhero strengths, and you got to decide who you're going to be and who you're going to show up as. And this tarot card spread is going to help you do that. The most important thing when you're approaching any art form, whether it's the tarot, whether it's prayer, whether it's journaling, is that you approach this energy field of the healing art with respect and reverence. I'll say that again. The most important thing, if you want the right results, you need to set your intentions really clear when you handle the tarot. When you speak to your ancestors, you come correct, you come with respect. You don't come with any silliness. You come with no doubt. You come with only faith. Trust me, you can do it for 15 minutes and 10 minutes. Only faith, no doubt. And so I'll share with you what I say is that ancestors and the Creator, I come to you in reverence with deep respect and deep devotion for anything, any messages in the highest, greatest good that you have to give me. I respect and I receive. I ask and I shall receive. I knock and the door opens. I seek and I find. I ask and I shall receive. I knock, and every time the ancestors open the door for me, I seek and I shall find. I come to you with humility, with generosity and gratitude and reverence and honor for everything that you had to go through in order for me to exist. I honor what it is that you have to say. I'm going to listen and I'm going to pay attention. And I ask that everything that is revealed to me is revealed with my greatest good, with compassion. This energy field now is sealed, and I can only receive lightness. And any dark that I receive is delivered to me with awareness and compassion and the intelligence of my ancestors with love and nurturing. So this is a portal. Where we are right now is a dimension. When you enter this dimension, you want to set your intentions really clear. I come to you with honor, with reverence and respect, so that this is sealed off and only the greatest good can touch me. Only the greatest good is surrounding me. And now I will enter this energy field with honor, respect, and intention and love. I pulled the cards ahead of time because I'm going to create affirmations with them. So I want to show you the deck that I use. Again, always come correct. That's something that we talk about in hip-hop all the time. You got to come correct. If you want the energy field to respect you, you have to respect the energy field. So these are the tarot cards that I use. And the spread that I'm doing right now, or that I did yesterday to prepare, is a 5-card spread. The first card that's represented is going to be the advice card. So the first card that you want to lay out is your advice card. The card that I got was strength. I've been working a lot with this card. It's kind of annoying because this card here, there you go. This card is a strength card. It's the first card that I got. And it represents mastery of emotions. And this is my advice card. I'm a very emotional person. I can be emotionally expressive and then emotionally repressive, emotionally expressive and then emotionally repressive. And it's detrimental to my health. And I know that. And because I asked my ancestors to reveal with love and compassion what it is that I need to work on during this transition, all of the cards that I got were on point, 110%. Crystal clear, honest truth. Ask and you shall receive. You just got to make sure that you ask for the right things, yeah? Ask for the knowledge and the wisdom that will gain you the abundance and the wealth that you want, not the wealth itself. You got to go through the journey. So the question that I asked the tarot was, what are the next steps that I need to take during this time of transition in my career? The most essential questions get the most essential answers. Be intentional and be clear. Don't just start pulling cards out of anywhere. Be intentional and be clear. The most essential questions get the most essential answers. Be specific. What are the steps that I need to take in order to get to the next level of my career? The advice card that I got was that I need to be more aware of my emotions. As I ascend to the next level of my career, I must become a master of focus, compassion, and self-control. Isn't that the truth? My God. As I get to the next level of my career, I must become a master of compassion and focus and self-control. That's the advice card that I got. The question that I asked was, ancestors, the lion is the master of focus, compassion, and self-control. That's the advice card that I got. That's card 1. Card 2 is going to represent the attitudes that people are going to have around me about me shifting to another level in my career. What are the attitudes that people are going to have around me as I shift to the next level of my career? This is very important because this is one that I've dealt with, which is why I called this talk How Not to Be Self-Destructive, because I can very easily slip into depression, self-abuse, self-punishment, and negative thinking. I have to fight really, really hard not to be there. But when I'm not there, it's beautiful and I'm really creative. So this was a little harsh for me to hear, but I asked the ancestors to be completely honest with me, and they always are, and I'm grateful for the connection. So card 2 is about blockages and being addicted to destructive thinking. So that's card 2. Here, the card that's there is the 10 of Wands. As I ascend in my career, what I'm being told is that I need to be very aware not to get stuck into old patterns that kept holding me back, of being creatively blocked, and of judging myself as I ascend. So sometimes when we have such high standards for ourselves, it's great and it's beautiful. A lot of creative people can identify with this, but we also are super hard on ourselves, and that's destructive. And you gotta come out of that. You gotta come out, because that's the ego. You gotta come out of being self-destructive. You have to start small, and you have to decide for yourself that you're gonna be compassionate as you grow. I had to learn that perfection is paralysis. For the longest time, my ego created this veil of, it's not perfect enough, so I'm not gonna put it out. But that really stunted my growth, and that is a form of cunning ego. So, as I advance in my career, the ancestors told me, girl, you have a tendency to be really self-destructive and insecure. You need to watch that. Which is absolutely true. That's card 2. Card 3. This is a positive card. They're harsh on me, y'all, but it's okay. Card 3 is, what insight and benefit will I get from going to the next level of my career? It's a positive card. Here we go. What insight and what benefit will I get? This card is a really beautiful card. This card is actually telling me that all of my aches and pains will fade away, and I will receive abundance and vitality and energy as I continue this path on my career. So, and that's true for me. Like, when I'm not, I think this is backwards. When I'm not being self-destructive, when I'm being creative, you guys, I went to school for poetry. Like, I've been a poet my whole life, just in denial, because I just didn't understand what that meant. It didn't feel like concrete enough to me to be an artist and to like take myself seriously. I wanted to get a salary job just like my parents and my parents before them, and it was really hard for me, because when I did get those salary jobs, I would get very depressed. So I had to choose between being economically stable and depressed, or having to hold myself very accountable and having less money until I got to the next level. And it was a very painful set of years. I think probably about a good 5 to 10 years where I was going back and forth between, I need this economically stable job, and then, God, I'm depressed, I'm overeating, I'm undereating, I'm being self-destructive. So to receive this card is really meaningful, because since I was a little girl, all I wanted to do was write poetry and like paint and be creative and be an artist. And then I was taught in my family that that was maybe good for a hobby, but not an actual serious thing, not something that I should actually take seriously. There's a lot of pain involved, and I had to move myself away and distance myself away from that sort of thinking, that survivalist thinking, to know I have important things to say. My gifts are valuable. So as I ascend to the next level of my career, the ancestors are telling me that I will have more vitality and more energy to do the things that I love. The ancestors are telling me that I'll have more vitality and more energy to do the things that I love, which is, God, such a relief, because I fought so hard to be okay with myself as an artist. I always wanted to be taken seriously and make good money and so on and so forth, but I realized that this story, my story, remember I was talking about who are you in your story? Who are you as a character? My story is a character of a little girl who was an artist but never wanted to be one, because she felt like she wasn't good enough and wasn't going to be able to make enough money to take care of herself. So in my career as an artist, the ancestors are telling me that all my aches and my pains and my worries will fade away as I continue to offer my gifts to the world. I will be rewarded with vitality. Which is great, because remember the card before that was like, girl, you're self-destructive and you're going to have to be aware of that your whole life. And then my first card was like, girl, you need to get your emotions together. You have to be a master of your emotions. Be a master of compassion for yourself, which has been really hard. It's been easier for me to be compassionate with other people. Be a master of focus, which means not getting caught up in other people's shit. And be a master of your emotions, which means keep going, don't quit. All right, 2 more cards, and then I'll take questions. Card 4 is what do I need to let go of? Right. Card 4 is what do I need to let go of? I asked the ancestors, what do I need to let go of? So, card 4 is what do I need to let go of? As I ascend to the next level of my career, remember my question, the most essential answers, the most essential questions get the most essential answers. So, my question was, as I ascend to the next level of my career, show me the steps that I need to take. What do I need to hold myself accountable for? Please show me. And in this section for card 4, that was my insight. Give me 1 second. Oh, here we go. The moon. So, for card 4, it's telling me that I need to let go of my fears. As artists, we have very vivid imaginations. We can create the most beautiful scenery and daydream and ground it into reality if we do the work of holding ourselves accountable and honoring that our dreams and our visions have a higher purpose, that they're not just for us and that they're not silly, that we can take them seriously and create beauty and create joy and laughter. At the same time, being able to create a vision in your mind is a superpower, and you can do it for the negative or for the positive.